Hey folks, this is the Rock and Roll King, Robert R. McFarland, talking to you. Right over my shoulder here is a little rusty. Hey, this is December 31st, 2016. It's probably been about 2 months since I did my last video. That was episode 13. This is episode 14 of how the rock and roll CD came to be, or the making of the rock and roll CD. Where we left off, we just got Danny Harness in to do some background vocals. And we was trying to get her in for probably about 2 to 3 months with scheduling. Then we had her booked one time, then her car broke down. We had to get her booked back in. She was able to do, I think, 4 songs that day. Then came back in and do one other song. A little buddy downtown's here. Come on, buddy. You want to get in the video? Anyways, she came back in and do Call Me Change. Phenomenal background vocalist. I mean, even a lead vocalist, but I'm saying what she did on background vocals is phenomenal. We're glad to have her in. It's worth the wait. So where we're at now, we just approved our art, or CD cover art for the rock and roll CD and also the CDs themselves about 2 weeks ago. We're working with Joe right now. He's getting the masters done. We had a couple edits, so he's working hopefully Tuesday, which will be January the 3rd, I believe. We'll have the masters to disc makers. At that point, they're getting ready to start the process of manufacturing the disc. I'm going to do a small run of 100 disc, and then that way I can make sure that everything sounds right, looks right, the way I want it to, and then we'll go on to get a bigger run. But up to that point, I really haven't been in the studio that much. I was in the studio to do the guitar, mandolin, and banjo solos for My Dog's Name is Rusty. I was actually to do the lead acoustic of Pete's song. And then I put banjo on God's Love Is Collar, which was kind of unique. So you'll hear banjo on that. Joe was he's like, man, let's try it. You know, he wasn't really sure, but he absolutely loves it now. So banjo is on my God's Love Is Collar. So we got banjo on 3 songs. Pete's song, My Dog's Name is Rusty, God's Love Is Collar. We got mandolin on 2 songs, I believe, which was My Dog's Name is Rusty. I did a mandolin solo for that. Then also, I said, hey, Joe, man, I want to put mandolin on the beginning of Write Me a Letter. And again, he was like, hey, man, let's try it. Let's see what happens. You know, no harm, no foul. I put it on there. I mean, he absolutely loves it. So if you can have your producer who's in there every day get excited about something, you're doing something right. So he absolutely loves it, thinks it made the song at the beginning. You can hear it a little bit throughout the song, but it's not really a mandolin song, but the beginning just needed something a little extra. So we put mandolin on that. Other than that, it's just been, you know, doing some edits and mixing and mastering. So we're looking for a January 25th, 2017 release, and that will actually be my dog's name. Well, my dog Rusty, his birthday. He has a Facebook page called My Dog's Name is Rusty. But Rusty was born January 25th, 2015. So he'll be 2 years old. He's got a song on the CD called My Dog's Name is Rusty. I'm going to release it on his birthday. And also we have a song called My Midnight, which is about my cat Midnight. Now my buddy Downtown, he's right here. You normally see me holding an instrument in these videos. I was going to grab a mandolin. I might do that for the next one. I just wanted to show you all the instruments that I played on the CD. But I forgot to grab that, so I grabbed Downtown instead. So, but folks, it's taken so long to get this done. Again, I started September 25th, I think, 2014. It looks like we're going to get a small run, probably the second week of January, but the actual release date will be January 25th, 2017. Looking back on all the frustrations, the delays with time, my car breaking down, money, waiting for people's schedules, folks, I'm telling you what, it's been worth it. As they say, nothing in life is easy. The things that really matter take some time and effort and work to make them worth it. So I believe once you hear the CD, if you watch these video series, you'll know what I was up against as far as time and money and people's schedule. I've powered through it all. I've stayed focused. I've stayed positive. I knew the end was right. I knew what we was going to do was going to be something special. And just in closing, I just want to say this. Joe Veers has been my producer this last year, so I worked with him from January until December, so pretty much the whole year. We've been become really close friends, and we really work good together. I mean, it's a give and take, and he'll throw something. I just want to mention this, on the rock and roll CD, I have a rock and roll Chants, and I do want to talk about that real quick. I had my buddy Don Catlett come in to do rock and roll Chants with Mike Mapes, Joe Veers, and myself. Joe set up 4 mics, and we did the rock and roll Chants, which is basically saying rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. And then we also did, on Rock and Roll Machine, we did, we did chants on that. And then also the bridge, we did some chants on that. But I wanted to have the rock and roll build-up of people chanting rock and roll, rock and roll. And Joe has a great thing. It sounds like a live concert. And he was like, you might want to keep this short. And I wanted like 30 seconds. I wanted to build up, the rock and roll chants. But he made a good point, people might want to hear Born to Rock. They don't want to hear 30 seconds of rock and roll chants every time they do that. So we cut it down, I think maybe 10 seconds at the most. So you hear the rock and roll chants building up to that song. You'll hear it build up to Rock and Roll Machine. Then we have a fade, I think about 24, 25 seconds of rock and roll chants on Night Sky Wish and Rock and Roll King at the very end of the CD. But he was very adamant. He said, it's your project, you can do what you want to, but if you have it more than 10 seconds or so, it's not going to have the effect that you want after time. The first time around, it might be cool. But, of course, if you get played on the radio, people are not want to cue it up. So I had to bend, to what he said. I thought about it for over an hour as we was mixing and mastering. I agree with him even now. That was probably the best decision for that goes. But we did, everything the best for the song each time, and it's worked out that way. So again, this is episode 14. And we'll probably have just maybe a couple extra episodes after the CD gets released and some, feedback from people. But we're so close right now. I'm so excited. People's wanting to buy the CD already, which I'm very proud of and humbled that people want to buy the CD and support me. So, folks, we're so close. We're coming for your ears as promised. And just want to say, music's the soundtrack of life. Have some every day. It's all for one, one for all, and all for rock and roll. And stay green, my friends. The rock and roll CD is coming soon. The first or second week of January, we'll have some short run. But the official release date is January 25th, 2017. Rock and roll will be back on your ears. Thank you so much. Until then.